welcome to the very first lecture of project management and team working, conveniently abbreviated as PMT. So welcome to the PMT sessions. Hopefully they won't be too stressful. My name is Philip Davis. I'm one of the two members of staff that will be teaching you on this particular unit. So you've got me. I tend to mostly teach postgraduates, but I'm very pleased to be able to teach you today on project management and team working. And it's going to be a rather different kind of a unit than you're used to. And that's because you'll be working in unusual circumstances. I'll explain that in a moment or two. But it's also quite challenging and an interesting unit as well. Paul de Vries, he will also be teaching on this unit, and we're going to share the lectures. So that I think the first two lectures are mine. You see me today, see me next week, and then the following 2 weeks it will be Paul de Vries. And then it may alternate alternatively. Some of you will have a seminar with me, and some of you will have a seminar with Paul. So the two of us will manage the whole unit together. Altogether, there are about 123 of you registered on the Brightspace for this unit, which is a fair number of students, but we'll see how we get on with that. So that's the two of us. That's who we're going to be, who you're going to be taught by. And just a very quick word about those boring things, the intended learning outcomes, which we'll just simply explain to you what we're going to do. So you've got 6 different intended learning outcomes for this unit. These are the things which, by the time you get to the end, you should now be able to do. That's if you're not able to do them at the moment, which you may be. But understand the theory of project management, what goes into making project management and good project management, what the components are, how to plan, monitor, those kind of things. How to select or adapt a methodology. Now you might think to yourself, oh, we've done methodology, we're okay with that, waterfall and agile and all those kind of things. But did you know there is software development methodology? Yeah, we know all about that. And there's also project management methodology, which is different from that. So you may have to grapple with 2 different kinds of methodologies and juggle them together. So we'll attend to that later. Identify and manage risks, or how to draw a risk plan. Many of you may have done that already, I don't know, but we'll certainly learn how to do that. And then, the most difficult thing of all will be number 4. And although you wouldn't believe me, although I say so here and now, the most difficult factor you will encounter is not learning how to manage projects, but learning how to manage people. Because you'll be working in a team for this. And not just an ordinary kind of team that you're used to working in, maybe in other units. In other units you may have worked in pairs. In other units you may have worked in triples or in 4 in a group. Yeah, you've done that, yes. I would expect many of you have done that kind of thing. In this unit, you will need to work in a real large team of 9. 9 people in your team. And you have to get your team together by the 13th of February. I'll explain that a little bit later, but you have to recruit your team members, 9 of them, which takes you naturally outside your friendship group. Because unless you're a really amazingly gregarious kind of person and unusual in the life and soul of the party, you probably haven't got 9 close-ish friends. You've probably got 1 or 2 or 3, maybe even 4 that you go down the pub with. But 9, well, that's a bit beyond, yeah? So, you're going to have to extend your group out to people that maybe you're not used to working with at all. That will be a difficulty. And then you'll have to cope with the problems of working with 9 people, some of whom maybe don't want to work at all. And how will you manage that? Because if some people in your team don't work at all, then your whole team suffers. And if your whole team suffers, that means that you will suffer. Why? Because everyone in the team gets the same mark. Think about these things and settle down to it. Work in a team on a project, be able to evaluate the process. Well, evaluation, yes, we'll go through how to evaluate things, and evaluate the professional and ethical issues involved. So this is the learning scope and the landscape in front of you and what we'll be looking at today. Everything is on Brightspace, including this lecture, because thanks to our volunteer over here, Press getting into it, he's videoing everything that we do here today. So we're going to be looking at you've got all the resources you need, you've got all the slides that you need, and you'll also have a video of certainly my lectures. I'm not sure if Paul will be videoing his lectures, but I'm videoing mine, and then I usually stick them up on YouTube, as well as putting them on Brightspace, so you have access to them from wherever and wherever you'd like to be, and you can download them from YouTube. I'm sure you can find a way of downloading them if you wish to. So we've got on Brightspace the unit specification, the unit teaching scheme. That means the plan for the coming 12 weeks. All the materials organised week by week, and most important of all, the thing which I'm going to draw your attention to today in some detail is the assignment. The assignment is up and running. The assignment is published, somewhat provisional, only insofar as it needs to be ratified by the external examiner. That's someone who's in another university way up north of the country. It has been sent to him, and if he finds everything's okay, we'll go ahead with it exactly as it stands. But it's unusual for an external examiner to change anything in the assignment, so you can take it for granted it'll be pretty well the same as it is. So if you find online the assignment, that'll be basically fundamentally it. And we're going to see how everything is done on a single assessment. This is something you know all about anyway. We've got lectures, 2-hour lectures. I'm going to break the lecture up halfway through so that we have a kind of a 15-minute break in the middle, because I reckon that 2 hours solid listening to me is too much, as exciting and interesting as my lectures tend to be. Nevertheless, 15 minutes in the middle. And so we'll have our break, and then I don't know what Paul will do. He may do something slightly different, but that's what I'll be doing, and I'll cover the topics as we go through. The idea is to get you to do your assignment, which is a whole lot of set of different things to do, and I'll cover the items as you go through them in the assignment during the weeks that are required, so you get the information kind of just in time. Seminars once a week. Something I want to stress about seminars. You've all been allocated a seminar. You've got a time which might be a crazy time, like 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock on a Tuesday, or you might even have a graveyard slot, like on 2 to 3 o'clock on a Friday. But nevertheless, there's some other more sensibly timed seminars. The important thing about a seminar is this. You're not stuck in that particular seminar slot. You can move from one seminar slot to another seminar slot. How is this magic possible? Possible because you'll be working in teams. So you're working in a team of 9. I would like your team of 9 to work together and come to a seminar together, because that makes sense, and then you can do the tasks together as a team. And although you haven't got your team of 9 together yet, you may well find that some of your team of 9 are in a different seminar from you, so you'd have to gather them together and bring them into your seminar. So people will be moving from seminar to seminar, and what we tend to find is that the more popular time slots get sort of booked up quickly, and the more difficult ones, well, they're left to the people who don't really sort themselves out quickly enough. Okay, because normally you can get about two, maybe 3 groups in a seminar if you push it. See how we go. So that's how the unit is delivered. If you want to know what we're going to be doing week by week, then there is a kind of a scheme of work is laid out here. The first one, you probably can't read that. Don't worry about it, it's on the slides. Introduction to project management and the project assignment, which is today. And I'll be doing that in the first and second half. And the seminar's about work breakdown structures. And then we're looking at teams next week, how to get yourself into a good team, and how to review your own skills as a team worker. And then it goes all the way through, all the way down to the 19th of May. I want you to notice 3 areas on this thing which you guess you can't read, but never mind, I'll read them to you. The first in red there says the 13th of February. The 13th of February is your first deadline. It's not far off, you might say, yes, but it's not a marked deadline. It is a deadline, though. It's a deadline for you to form your team. So basically, you've got almost 2 weeks. 2 weeks to get your team of 9 together and enrolled on Brightspace as a group with your own group name. All right? Until the 13th of February. If you miss the deadline of the 13th of February at 12:30, then, and you haven't got a group yet, do not despair, because Brightspace has been instructed to take your name and randomly allocate you to whichever group it feels you would best fit in, which is often done by a toss of a coin. So it may not be the best group for you, but it'll be fixed after the 13th of February. Was there a question there? No. So your first deadline, 13th of February, stop thinking about groups and how to get your group together. The next deadline is the 21st of March. I thought that was going to be the 13th. That should be the 13th of March, so I'll change that. 13th of March, 1 month later, which is the submission of your project plan. Okay, if you're going to do a project as a team, you've got a big project to do, you do your project, and this is called project management, you have to plan the project. So to show that you've planned the project before you properly start it, you plan it and produce a set of documents to show that it's properly planned, and they have to be submitted by the 13th of March. And then you can go ahead, do your project, work on it, get all the things together, and then on the, it says the 19th of May here, that's when you finally upload your project report, all your project materials, any software that you've created and put together, anything like that, all get put together and send up on the 19th of May. Sorry, 19th of May. 19th of May. Give you a bit long. And also at that time, there will be some team presentations so that you can present your work as a team. We'll use seminar times for that. Right. For many of you, you'll be very pleased to know that this is 100% coursework. There are no exams. I think there used to be exams in the past, but I took them out. So you can thank me for that later. No exams at all, it's just assignment work. And you do it collectively as a group of 9 people. 30% for your planning task, twice as much as that for the final project that you upload and 10% for the project evaluation. So that's how it breaks down. 100% coursework, and the assignment which you can find will look like this. So it's on Brightspace, it's under the assignment section, normal place where you find assignments. It's there already, just a little caveat saying subject to external examiner approval, which should be coming shortly, and then you're going to go ahead and do that. This is, by the way, a large assignment. You would expect it to be a large assignment after all, wouldn't you, if you think about it? Because it's not just an assignment for one. It's an assignment for 9. Okay? 9 people doing one assignment. It's going to be quite a large assignment. And it's breaking up into many different components. It's going to have a business component. It's going to have a computing component. And it's going to have a forensic component. All 3 components working together, producing one object at the end of the day. What is it you've got to do? Well, you have a lot of degrees of freedom here. You can do pretty well what you like, except what you've got to create is a mobile app. Okay. In the past, I used to try and restrict the mobile app to, sensible apps and, educational worthy apps. And I excluded things like games and such like. But, I thought to myself, why? Any mobile app that you would like to create as a team of 9, you can create anything you want, including games, if you wish to do a game, or a tracking device for fitness, if you want to do that, stock taking, advice on how to upload stuff onto Spotify, you name it, you can do whatever you like. Podcasting, app, anything you want. It's as big as your imagination can take it. And you as a team of 9 must bring all that app together, and you must have a business case for it. I want it to make some money. I want you to tell me how it's going to make some money. I want you to work out how it would make some money, how it would draw money into it. And I'd like you to make sure also that it meets legal and regulatory requirements as well. So that if there are any laws which apply to your app, such as maybe GDPR, General Data Protection Regulations, or Data Protection Acts which apply to your act, then you have to show how your app and your back office system conforms to those legal requirements. You'll need a report on those 2 things as well. You may need to do some marketing to plan out what app to do, what might be of interest. Unfortunately, the marketing you're not allowed to do is you're not allowed to actually ask people questions or do a questionnaire, because, well, that would involve an ethical checklist to go through, ethical approval. So any marketing that you do, it must be online kind of marketing, and do find your data from that. But there you go. You're a member of a team employed by a startup company that's been asked to create an Android mobile app whose primary goal is to make money. Okay, let's be honest. Question in the back, yeah. Can you speak up? Because I'm rather old and deaf.
When you create an Android mobile app, you have to stick to a certain program language.
Do you have to stick to what?
A certain program language.
A certain programming? No. You can do whatever you like. You can use whatever libraries you like. You can use whatever language you like. This is like, I'm going to try to make this clear, this is like real life. All right? It's as real life as I'm going to try and make it for you, because I want you to make something in the way in which, if you were a real company, a real team, and you had real choices, what would you really, really do? Be guided by that. if you wanted to make some real money, do it properly, what would you really do? Be guided by that. Yeah, question.
How many times do you think our team should meet a week, like as a rough guide?
How many times should a team meet a week?
Yeah, not including like seminars or lectures, like we would do.
You will find that that is a terribly important question.
Yeah.
And it's terribly important because you need buy-in from this from all of your team members. And being able to make a disciplined team which functions professionally is the key to all this. I would recommend weekly meetings.
Weekly, like hour or two?
I would recommend that it's not dependent upon time, but upon tasks.
Okay.
The key feature, and this is advanced notice from probably future weeks, the key feature is simply this. You have to have a formal meeting with minutes. You have to have a time when you allocate tasks to individuals during your meeting. So the main purpose of your meeting will be you will be doing this, this and this by next week. So you have to be small chunk tasks.
When you say minutes, do you mean like documenting the meeting, like what we're saying, or do you mean just how long it is?
No, you don't have to go to the extent of where everybody says, no. But what you do have to document is the action points. Okay, so you have to do this, this and this. You have to do this, this and this. You have to do this and this. You have to do this and this. You have to do that and that. All 9 people are given bite-sized chunks of tasks which can be done within a week. Right? And if you don't do it that way, you'll find that things slip all over the place. And then next week, you come back to your next week's meeting, and the first thing you ask is, okay, we said you would do this and this. Show us what you've done. Everybody. Accountability to the whole group becomes very important. And it's important to take out your action points and say, right, let's read them out. Number 1, Jim said he would do this. Alice said she would do that. Show us what you've done. And I'll give you some hints about how to avoid problems with that later on. Every week, formal meetings, small tasks given out is the secret to making this work. Checking in each week. Forming your team of 9. I will get people coming to me afterwards and saying, I've got a team of 6, will that do? My answer here and now is no. You need a team of 9. Go and get 3 more people. I'll come to someone, other people say, I've got a team of 10. Will that do? No, you need a team of 9. However, I do recognise that 123 people may not exactly fit into the groups of 9s. And therefore, I will allow exceptionally a team of 10, or a couple of teams of 10 in order to make up the gap. Okay? So, but no teams less than 9. The smaller the team you've got, I'm going to be frank with you here. The smaller the team you've got, the easier it becomes. It's hard to manage a team of 9, and that's why 9 has been chosen, because it's hard to do it. In fact, it's impossible to do it unless you use formal methods, unless you have disciplined meetings, unless you have action points listed out, unless you have accountability week by week, so that each person is given a task and each person is accountable for that task. Next week, they have to explain it to everybody else. And if people don't start turning up, as you may well find, you have to find a way of managing that. I'll give you some hints about how that might be done. One of your biggest problems will be communication and making sure people turn up to meetings, because if they don't turn up, they can't be communicated with. Here we go. So you'll need a team of 9. And it's your responsibility to find the team of 9. Now, if you're the kind of person who works on their own, it might be difficult for you to do that. And there are people who just like to get their head down and work solidly. I can work very hard, I can do very well, but I'm by myself. But this is not this kind of unit, sorry. This is program management and team working. It's about learning team working. And it will set you up for working in real life when you leave here. Because many of you will go and join What companies? Yeah. And work in what? Yeah, teams. And you'll be held to account to the team. So it's a good preparation for that. And teams may well be quite sizable. I suppose I work in a team of lecturers delivering programs of about 25, 30. It's a big team. How do we manage a team like that? Well, you're going to get an idea of how to do that with your own team. And you'll be pulling your hair out and be very frustrated with some team members because this will be your biggest problem throughout this unit. And I will get numbers of people coming to me and saying, so-and-so doesn't turn up, so-and-so doesn't pull their weight, what can I do? I do have a range of options for you. So you're not without leverage here. Okay. In order to recruit your team, I have set up for you, first of all, groups. So you go up to communications and groups, and you'll find all these groups are set up. I think there's 1 to 14 groups with 9 members available to the group. You need to choose one of those groups and then enroll all of your team members onto the group automatically. Each person will need to enroll onto a group. And you can do that between now and the 13th of February, 12:30. After that time, the shutters come down and you can't enroll anymore. And then by 6 o'clock the next day, you'll find you're allocated at random to some of the team. So it's really in your best interest to choose your own teammates. In fact, I'll give you this one important piece of advice, probably the most important piece of advice I'll give you throughout the entire series, because this one piece of advice will probably affect your mark more than any other thing that you do. What is it? I'll tell you. It's very simple. Choose your teammates with the utmost care. Why? Because there are a lot of people who do not pull their weight. And if you've got half a team of people who are working and half a team of people who are not pulling their weight, then you are an unequal team. And you will find that if they don't pull their weight, you're not getting the full amount of work that you need to be done in your team. And if you're not getting the full amount of work, you will not get the mark that you deserve. Half of you will be incredibly frustrated with the other half, or maybe the majority will be frustrated with the minority. And you'll think you're pulling everything down because you're not doing the thing you need to do. And so choosing your teammates is really the one thing which will ensure that you get either good marks or abysmal marks. Don't choose the people you like, therefore. Choose the people who can do the job best. If you do that, you'll end up with the best marks. If you choose just the people you like, you'll end up with marks which are suitable for likable people, but maybe not the most competent people. That's my best tip. That will govern your final mark more than anything else. Because getting the right people, they'll pull the weight and they'll do all kinds of things. You go to this section, you choose a team, and you can change the name of the group, and then you can self-enroll onto it, up to 9 people. Make sure you get all 9. You may find, well, we're 1 missing, we're 2 missing, what do we do? I have thought of that. And I have set up a discussion group. The discussion group is available to you for you to advertise your team. Advertise your team name, explain a little bit about what your project's about, what app you're going to make, explain what you need what you're looking for in terms of applicants for your team. Advertise. We need 2 people who are good, one at business, making marketing plans, and who can do maybe a cash flow chart, and I need another person who is good at forensics and knows GDPR, the law side of things. I need those 2 people in my team. If you're interested, come and join us. We're a hard-working team. We're looking to gain a project which will score over 80%. If you're interested, leave us a message. If you get 2 or 3 people applying for your post, interview them. Yeah, set up interviews. Make it as real as you can. Choose the best person. You may not know them. You may get people by recommendation. Doesn't matter how you do it. That's just one method. But get yourself a team of 9 good people. Just in passing, I found an amazing correlation between score or marks at the end of the day and how quickly teams form. I don't know if that's of any interest to you, but the teams which form themselves first get off the starting block, look like they're well organised, keen, motivated, get things in place, they tend to get the highest marks for some reason. Those people who tend to leave it and can't be bothered and just get allocated to team at the end of the day, well, their team tends to not to.